The Chicago Bears offense found some success against the Los Angeles Rams defense, and today we're going to talk about what the Bears did that I felt like really changed this game, especially in the second, third, and fourth quarter. In the first quarter specifically, the Bears offense had some struggles, but in the second, third, and fourth quarter, they started to put some drives together. They started to do some things on the offensive side. The offensive line executed and kept the quarterback clean. And I felt like Shane Waldron did a pretty good job as well. And the Bears came out there and they decided they were going to play some power football. Maybe the offensive linemen are unable to reach, but we're going to play some power football, and that's exactly what they did. And to me, it stood out right away, right? Because you saw plays like this where Darnell Wright as well as Matt Pryor end up double teaming the defensive tackle. And not only do they drive this guy 10 yards back, but they then bury him. Right? To me, those are the type of plays right there that set the tone, that set the physicality. I think the Chicago Bears have a really good offensive line if you allow that offensive line to do what it's essentially best at. And at this point right now, the offensive line is built for power. When you consider guys like Darnell Wright, Matt Pryor, I know Tevin Jenkins ended up not playing most of the game yesterday, but even Braxton Jones, these guys are strong as hell. These guys are physical. Nate Davis at the point of attack is physical. Run those power plays, and that's exactly what the Bears did, and it worked. 3rd and 1, and you look at this movement that's being created here by the right tackle. Watch him get physical and watch him move this defensive lineman out of there. That right there is what the Chicago Bears have to do. Another thing the Bears did was they continuously fed DeAndre Swift, and I think a game plan built around that idea makes a ton of sense. You know, you want DeAndre Swift one-on-one opportunities against guys in holes and lanes because he's the type of running back that's going to make pretty much anyone miss. He's so quick, he's so shifty, and you see plays like this where the safety has a one-on-one opportunity against Swift, and Swift just runs away from this guy. 36 yards on this one. On this play here specifically, you got to give some credit to the rookie wide receiver. The center does a pretty good job, and Braxton Jones does a pretty good job as well. Keep an eye on Jones. Watch him make contact here, and watch him push this guy outwards. And as he pushes this guy outwards, you can see he's not able to get off the block. At the same time, keep an eye on the rookie wide receiver. Odunze is going to do a really good job. He's going to initially go up to number 3. 3 is going to run to the left, and he's going to turn back towards the right. And he's going to make sure this corner is not able to come back and make the play. So it's a really good job right there by him as well. But again, I love the game plan and the idea to get DeAndre Swift the football. And this guy's a very, very good playmaker in space. And that's essentially what Shane Waldron came into this game and did. And the Chicago Bears, of course, found success getting the football to Swift. Now, Caleb Williams also did a really, really good job in so many different moments. And one of the things that I wanted to see from Caleb Williams was to play more within the structure of the offense. We know Caleb Williams, when a play breaks down, can create plays. We know Caleb Williams has that special ability, but he has to also play within the structure of the offense. And it's a great play where he gets the ball out super quickly to DeAndre Swift. Swift's able to kind of make plays, but there was another play. Here, Williams is going to do a really good job. Now, the play is actually not going to be completed, but it is going to be a pass interference here on the cornerback, and essentially the ball is going to get placed on the 1-yard line. But the thing I like about this play was the pocket presence and the awareness by Caleb Williams to recognize the read, step up in the pocket, and this is a really good job here by the offensive lineman. Matt Pryor was phenomenal, in my opinion. The guy's just physical, man. He's so strong, and he gives you that versatility. He can play right guard or left guard, and he's just a really, really good offensive lineman, and I'm glad that he's healthy because you can definitely see that the Bears' offensive line from the inside is a lot better with this guy playing. But you're going to see that this play is essentially going to be a scissors concept. So DJ Moore is going to end up running a corner route, and you're going to get the wide receiver here to run underneath that. So this is a cover 4. So essentially, this is the safety that could ultimately make this play. If the safety goes towards the left, which is exactly what this guy's going to do, you fit the ball in towards the right. Keep in mind in a cover 4, the two guys that are splitting the right side of the field are not going to just come over to the left, right? Like this safety here is not going to just magically run over here and make this play because of the fact that there's rules within the cover 4. So on this play here, Williams is going to do a great job reading the play. He's going to do a great job recognizing the coverage. And he also recognizes the gaps within the cover 4, right? So to me, this is a good job reading coverage. This is a good job getting the ball out. It's a good job giving one of your best wide receivers an opportunity, right? Because to me, this is what you got to keep doing. Because this is exactly what you want to do when you have weapons like the way the Chicago Bears have. And although it was a really good read by Caleb Williams, this play right here was probably the play of the game for me when you look at Caleb Williams. Specifically because he recognizes the coverage pre-snap. He's going to hold the safety to the left. And he knows that his best wide receiver is going to come back and make a play. Or one of his best wide receivers. DJ Moore catches a 9-yard touchdown pass. But it's so impressive to me to, process what Caleb Williams does on this play, understanding the coverage, understanding where he wants to go with the football, understanding the matchups. One of the things that Ryan Poles has done a really good job at with the Chicago Bears is he's essentially created a ton of mismatches across the board. And what I mean by that is this. You have Cole Kmet, who's a very good tight end. You have DeAndre Swift, who's a very good running back. You have DJ Moore. You have Adunze. You have Keenan Allen. You have Tyler Scott and Gerald Everett, Roshan Johnson, as well as some of the other guys, right? So you have a lot of weapons on the offensive side. So what that means is if you come out in a cover one man-to-man situation and you're in, let's say, nickel defense, you might end up getting stuck with the linebacker trying to cover DJ Moore. And in this instance here, you can see this is cover one because the linebacker here is coming. You can already see that. You already know there's 5 guys that are essentially coming. You also see that there's 1 safety playing deep, so it's definitely cover 1. And there's a way to keep this safety here away from the matchup down here, right? Essentially, you're going to snap the ball and you're going to just look over here to the left as soon as the ball gets snapped, which is exactly what the quarterback's going to do on this one. You guys will see as soon as the quarterback's going to snap this football, he looks right over to the left. And as he's looking to the left, watch the safety. The safety's going to open up his hips. He's going to start going to that same side. And then Caleb Williams is going to come back to the right, the matchup that he probably wanted pre-snap. And he's going to hit the wide receiver here against the linebacker, a mismatch. Right? There's no way a linebacker's covering DJ Moore, no matter what the play is. It's just impossible. It's never happening. But again, Williams is smart. He's recognizing these little things. Right? He's going to look to the left as soon as he gets the ball. He's going to come back to the right because he knows his wide receiver is going to have a linebacker on him. And he's going to stay within the pocket where the pocket's breaking down. And he's going to play within the structure of the offense. And he's going to get the ball out. This is a pretty good job here by Williams. You got that pressure kind of coming. The pocket's collapsing from the tackles. The center does not do that good of a job on this one. So because the center doesn't anchor down, as a quarterback, you can't step forward within the pocket. But again, you make it work. You get the ball out. That's a perfect pass right there. It doesn't get better than that. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the offensive lineman here in a second, but I want to just share with you guys one more thing that ultimately happens with the Chicago Bears offense that I personally appreciate. This play right here is power to the right of the screen. You're going to essentially pull 2 offensive linemen to the right, but because of the fact that Caleb Williams has the ability to run with the football, Shane Waldron's not going to just call a normal power run towards the right. The quarterback is going to have an option within this play. So it's essentially a power run towards the right. Both left guard, left tackle pull to the right. And as a defensive end, when these 2 guys pull over here towards the left, you're taught to come down with that, right? You're taught to chase that from the backside. But because of the fact that Caleb Williams is fast, he can easily pull the football. And that's exactly what he's going to do on this one. And I love the fact that this guy has the ability to pull the football. Because not every quarterback has the ability, and not every quarterback can make this play either, but Caleb Williams can definitely make that play. Here's another example of it. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a split zone concept, but essentially it's the same thing once again. A split zone, tight end comes on a wham, right? He's the guy that's going to come back, who's going to hit this defensive end. And because the defensive end sees the left tackle, left guard blocking down, he knows this is essentially going to be a zone run, so he's going to come and he's going to try to take the tight end on. But as soon as you look towards the inside and you let the containment go on this one, Caleb Williams is going to pull the football, right? So this is another element into the Chicago Bears offense that I personally like. I like the fact that Shane Waldron gives the opportunity to Caleb Williams to pull the football in some of these run concepts. Because what's going to ultimately end up happening, because as the Chicago Bears continue going forward and they play the Packers, the Vikings, or one of these other teams down the schedule, these defensive ends are going to have to stop themselves. And they're going to have to contain the quarterback potentially pulling the football. And essentially, when the tight end comes over here and makes contact with this guy, there's essentially going to be a much bigger gap between this defensive end and wherever this defensive lineman ultimately gets pushed. So to me, love the fact that the Chicago Bears have this added element to their offense. I really like what Caleb Williams showed us yesterday on tape. The guy was very, very solid. And he did all the right things you wanted to see out of a quarterback, right? Play within the structure. Make your reads, make your keys, and just be decisive with the football, get it out, and just let your natural talents kind of take over. And that's exactly what I felt like we saw from Caleb Williams, right? A guy that played a lot more within structure, a guy that was making all the throws. It's a really, really good pass here by Caleb Williams. Play action, you show power run on the front with the offensive lineman, right? Left guard pulls to the right. That's going to suck in the linebackers a little bit. You can see number 51 here and how he's going to ultimately get influence with that. And you're going to throw it right over the top, right over his head. So this is a really, really good pass right there. Now, to end this video, I want to just kind of give you guys some updates and really just talk about some of the offensive linemen, because I've been watching every single Bears game up to this point, and we haven't really gotten too much into the offensive linemen. There's some struggles up front, right? And I think Ryan Poles has to come out and really figure out some of these offensive linemen, specifically at left tackle. Braxton Jones looked good early on, but he really hasn't developed into the guy that we thought he could ultimately develop into. And he's been having a lot of losing snaps. And to me, left tackle for a quarterback who throws it with his right arm is the most important position on the offensive line. Right now, Braxton Jones has so many losing snaps on tape, and you can't have this as the guy that's tasked with protecting the blind side of a quarterback. You have to do a better job. You have to be able to anchor down and make your quarterback feel comfortable, because these are turnover-worthy plays potentially, right? 3rd and 13, it's a moment where the teams that pick up 3rd and 13s win championships. Teams that don't, because they're giving up instant pressure, will never win championships. These are the money downs, and Braxton Jones just has to do a better job because he's losing on basic things, right? This was the DeAndre Swift screen that we showed earlier. But look at how fast he's going to end up losing. He just straight up gets swiped. And that right there is a rookie defensive lineman. To me, you can't have that happen if you're Braxton Jones. And there's been so many plays like this on tape that I've seen from Jones. So I need this guy to be a little bit better as we kind of go forward. Now, Nate Davis did step in yesterday. Tevin Jenkins obviously had an injury that at this point, some people are saying could be a very serious injury. We'll see kind of the update as that ultimately comes out. But Nate Davis looked pretty good in his spot. Now, Nate Davis has been very, very inconsistent. But if Tevin Jenkins is out for an extended amount of time, Nate Davis is going to have to continue to play well. And he's going to have to continue to do things like this, where he's reaching and getting in front of people. This one's a really good block by Davis because he's able to get in front of the 2-eye technique defensive tackle. He's able to flip the hips. So it's a pretty good job right there. But he has to continue to do things like this, right? Because Davis has struggled this year. And at this point, I think there's a real chance that left guard Matt Pryor might end up being the Chicago Bears' best offensive lineman. The guy's been very, very consistent. He's been very, very solid. And I think the Bears got to continue to feature this guy on the offensive line. He's been just absolutely moving people. And it's one of those things where if you're having success, you want to continue that, right? You want to continue having success with the guys you're ultimately having out there. Overall, I think the Chicago Bears should be a solid team this year. They should compete for potentially making the playoffs. But I do think the fact that they have a rookie quarterback, it's going to be difficult because there'll be games where it'll be a close game and the Bears will be down maybe a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, or maybe the Chicago Bears need to be able to score some points and they're playing a top-tier defense, or the Bears are playing a top-tier scheme, right? Top-tier coach. And they might struggle a little bit because at the end of the day, rookie quarterbacks do struggle. And I like the fact that the Chicago Bears ultimately were able to put this game away. They did a really, really good job on both the offensive and defensive side. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be checking in on Austin Booker probably a little bit later on this week. I want to go ahead and recap the first 4 games of this season. You know, he hasn't started as a full-time defensive end, but he has had some snaps. I think he's put like 47 snaps or so. So we'll check in on him a little bit later on. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys next time with another video.